I was crying like a baby last night. I mean, I was watching this movie and it's called Rewind. And this movie just got me to tears. And I love that movie, right? And it has a so powerful moral in the story. And it's about a guy. His name is John, and my name is John, right? And this guy, he's been successful on his business, right? He has a good career. But the problem was to summarize the story, this guy, um, he, he was so successful, but at the same time, he's very stressful. He was frustrated, right? Because he was expecting a promotion from a company he's been working with, and the owner of the company was a godfather, his godfather itself, and he built the business together with him. And then it came out on that story that he was his godfather, that's the owner of the company, the CEO, was his birthday, and is going to announce his retirement, and then gonna pass the position to somebody else, and it was supposed to be surprised. Apparently, this guy John, he didn't get the promotion. It was a new lady, and she was strategically almost equal with her. But this guy John, he has an ego. He has, because he was running the business, he grew the business, he got a lot of awards, and he didn't get the promotion, so that disappointed him. And then what happened is he got totally frustrated. He quit this his job on this business. And then the story is, when he was going to attend on the next day, he was going to attend to his son's music thing in school, a presentation. They had an accident with his wife. They were arguing, and his wife died, right? So, and it was just the wife was doing everything for him. The next week after that's supposed to be his birthday, and the wife was preparing everything for him, right? So, just to save the family somehow, to make him happy. The problem, his attention was always on his business. So it was an eye opener for him when his wife died in that moment. And the reason it's called rewind, after that he was drinking. His son needs to go to his stay to his grandma because the John was just end up drinking, right, off because of loneliness or frustration. And then um he was talking to Jesus. His son was talking about, we call him Lods, and he had a conversation with Jesus. And in that story, Jesus popped up, gave him another chance, and just one day to live, rewind the situation so that he can make it good. But the catch of the story is someone has to die. So the wife will be brought back to life. So the whole event on that day when the wife died it's a rewind. That's why it's called rewind. It's gonna go back to that time so that he can make it up at least. But then he made a deal that instead of his wife is going to die, it is his turn, right? It was just switched to him. But the moral of the story, the whole point was, he wasted a lot of time losing the purpose of the and the reason why he wants to be successful. The reason he wants to be successful is to be with his family, to have a better life, better relationship with the family, enjoy life better. But what ended up is he got so caught in the business, and not really caught in the business. In reality, he got so caught in his frustrations and the mind to make it successful, that his family, he was so blinded to it that he didn't see or even realize that he's losing his family already because he's so focused on his business, or in his mind, stressed out. Um, anyway, if this something relates with you about this internal works, I got this community. We call it Klariti for Overthinkers, and the whole goal on this community is to learn how to better your relationship with your mind. If you're an online business, if you're an online coach or a business owner, and you are frustrated and you are stressed out, burnt out, overwhelmed because of all the problems, or you are reacting from a situation, how you run your business, not meeting your expectation, but in reality, the real problem is not the business itself, just like with John, but the relationship with yourself, with your mind, with your emotion, right? And in Clarity, we have this execution gap audit, which actually identifies what is this mental trap or blockage that gets you more frustrated and stopping you to take action, right? Because there's two ways to take action. You can take action forcefully, like pushing yourself, like it's a hustle and grind culture, or you can just take action with simplicity, smiling, but being more productive, but in a way that you're calm. We got this badass method inside this method inside this community. So you can get access to the description. I'll put the link below, and hope to see you inside there. So the story is continuing about the movie that I watched last night. I realized that the business, if you are missing the point, if you are getting carried away by your emotion, by your frustration, right? Because you're too focused on what you think is the solution for your life, for your family, for your business. But if you don't catch those mental stress, those noise, those resistance, those pressure, you it will carry away your your whole life and business. The whole purpose is gone. It becomes so blurred that you don't realize what that you're destroying something in exchange for being successful. And the problem with this is there is no end game on that. If you keep on reacting, if you keep on being controlled by your emotion and stress, because you will be chasing, no matter how much success you have, you will be chasing more success and the more success, until you wake up, you lose it all, and then you realize, fuck, it's too late, right? And this is why it is very important, if you're running a business, is to be consciously aware of your mind, of your emotions, right? Are you really doing this for life, to have a better life, to have a peace of mind? Because the whole purpose is to have a peace of mind, to be happy, right? And we all think that to be successful in businesses, you need to hustle and grind, you need to push, you need to force yourself. You don't have to. You can both be successful, take action consistently, be executing without pressure. You don't, because the thing is, it's just the relationship with your mind and with your emotion. And the reason I'm saying this is just, it is true, because when I was in 10K debt, when I started my online business, even I was in working on a full-time job, I was broken that time. I was hustling and grinding, right? I was totally hustling. I was promoting an offer that promotes that you work 2 hours a day and then make 900 income, $900. And I was so caught into that, and the purpose is actually to pay off my bills and then have a better life. But I was hustling and grinding. I was actually sleeping 2 hours a day. I was present at my home with my kids, but my mind is somewhere else. My kids are asking me to play with them. I have 8 kids, by the way, and I only hear maybe 2 words of the whole sentence that they're saying, because my mind is somewhere else. I really want to make it happen, to be successful on a business, and I did make few sales from that, but it's just not worth it. But the moment when my electricity got cut off, it got disconnected, because the company I used to be working with was not paying me, and then I was hustling and grinding, but it was not enough to pay my bills. It was frustrating, right? Until then, when that happened, it just everything went dark, right? So what I did is just fuck it. I said, I'll just follow the strategy. I don't need to pressure myself. The only solution I have right now is this online business. So I stopped worrying, really, because I know it's not just about um, it's just not about the drama that we put in our situation in the business that we are running, because most of the time the reality of not being successful in the business or not meeting the expectation you want in your business are just a story, a drama. The reality is just a small thing, but the drama, the story that we put into that situation, we may exaggerate it and we make it even more um, difficult for us. The story becomes even more emotional and more exaggerated. So at that moment, when I just follow the strategy, because the information is there, the data is there, that it works. This strategy was the offer that I was working with, and the mentor that I was following with has a strategy, but I was so frustrated I was not following it 100%. And I keep on tweaking things because I was emotionally carried away and I was expecting sales too quickly. There is no enough time to collect data to understand what was the problem, because the problem was my resistance in my mind. All this pressure, all this stress, all this expectation is becoming the is the reason that I didn't see what the real reason why it was not working, because I was so emotionally and mentally frustrated, and that blurs the reality. So when I stopped that, I just followed it. I become conscious. I said, fuck it, right? I will not attach my emotion, my story in my mind. I just followed the strategy, not stupidly, but consciously, intentionally. So I did that, and after 2 weeks, I made $1,350 sale in 5 days time, and then consistent sale until I reached my paid off my debt, 10K debt after 5 months from it, and simply by taking action intentionally without pressure, right? You just follow the strategy, and then you stick into it, collect data without being attached emotionally, and just collect information, and from there you refine it. So it's all about detachment with the mind, detachment with your emotion, because it can be frustrating, but this frustration is just self created. And this is why we built this community. It's called the Klariti for Overthinkers. And this is why I share this, because it's just amazing, right? How can you run a business smiling happily without even being pressured? Sometimes we work 8 hours a day, but most of the time what we are doing is just a reactive reaction from our mind and from our emotion, and we're doing things that's not necessary. We're doing so much thing that is not going to benefit your business, because it is operating from a pressure. You're on a state of a reactor mode, what we call it. But if you are operating from creator mode, meaning you are in calm state, you are conscious of your mind and your thoughts, then you know exactly you only have to do certain things, small things, and then from there you get the feedback, collect data, and you do it in a long span, because the more you do it, the better data you will get. And data doesn't lie, right? Data are facts, but we create so much drama that we then tweak our strategy, we tweak our niche, or whatever part of your business that you keep on changing, because you are emotionally charged and reactive. You always go back to zero. And that cost is not just affecting your business, but affecting the family life as well. You're running a business, you're so successful, but when you are at home, when you're on your dinner table, your mind is somewhere else flying, right? And it's not worth it. It makes things worse. And the point here is it is not necessary. There's a better way. I believe there's a better way. It worked for me and it worked for my clients. So if this interested you, and if you feel it is relatable for you, you are frustrated, mentally frustrated, and you can't identify where that frustration is coming from, join us, or You can even grab a call inside, and I'm happy to help you. Okay, so this movie is it's nice to see that because it just shows that this situation of John is happening everywhere. It's even happening. I can see a lot in the business. People are frustrated about things that are just not necessarily to be frustrated about. So this is just a short insight from what watched yesterday, and if you like this kind of topics about this mental friction and emotional charge, and you want to get out of it, you know someone who might need this, you know somebody who is frustrated, share this video and like this video, subscribe, because I'm gonna share you more insights based on what on my experience and the experience of my clients. I see you. Peace.